need to send them a text. Text CUT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CUT to 42424. That's CUT to 42424. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
It's Arizona Baseball and GCU Tuesday down in the Valley.
Hit high in the air to left field. Back to the track, back to the wall. It's out of here!
Cats look to win the season series against the Lopes. Coverage begins at 6:50 right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station, your home for the NFL, regular season, playoffs, and Super Bowl. It's Wildcats Radio, 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Short drop now spinning away to his left. Sets up, has time. Deep downfield, and the ball is caught down at the 25-yard line. First down, Arizona. Keyan Burnett, the tight end, hauls it in. Big play again.
That was a spectacular catch by him.
That was beautiful.
Focusing on making sure I'm in the right spot and doing what the offense and doing what Noah needs me to do to get open to create more separation.
Looking downfield, throws downfield. He's got a man open. It's caught. Is that good? It is good. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, my. Again, Fafita buying time, and Keyan Burnett gets to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona.
That is a huge play. Noah Fafita scrambling for his life that time, and he keeps his eyes downfield, finds his high school teammate in the back of the end zone.
Noah likes to scramble a lot. He ended up throwing a great pass to me. Kind of cut back against the opposite side of the defense in the back of the end zone, so great ball by him. That means everything. I think it's just a testament to my coaches and my team, and like I said, Noah, Fafita, and just my family.
One of the biggest plays of last college football season for your Arizona Wildcats was turned in by one tight end, Keyan Burnett. The touchdown late on the road at Utah, the 35-yarder with Noah Fafita scrambling for his life, finding his high school teammate in the back of the end zone, getting his feet down for the touchdown, the lone touchdown he would score last season. We didn't think we were going to see that again. Fafita to Burnett. But this is the new world of college football as the transfer portal turns. So in case you've been under a rock for the last 4 or 5 months, Keyan Burnett entered into the transfer portal at the end of the season, decided that Arizona was not where he wanted to be to finish his college career, decided that Kansas in the Big 12, Kansas, and I'll just repeat the first thing I would change about the portal is that you cannot transfer within conference. I've said that before. I'll repeat that in case you missed it. Transferred to Kansas. Okay, so now Keyan Burnett is a Kansas Jayhawk for the remainder of his college career. Or maybe not. Because at the end of spring ball, Keyan Burnett went back into the transfer portal. And yesterday, it was reported that Keyan Burnett has decided to come back to Arizona. All right, so where do we sit with this? Where do we sit with all of this? And I want to say a number of things here. Keyan Burnett is an excellent young man, comes from an excellent family, a legacy Wildcat. You know, we've had his dad on the show. We know his dad. He played with Kelvin Efon, Chester Burnett. Highly, highly coached up kid, good kid. Every time I've had a chance to interact with him, tremendous, tremendous young man. Okay, so we love Keyan Burnett. Absolutely love the kid. All right. I think what I don't love, though, is this system. And let's not get this wrong. The kids are doing what they are permitted to do under this system. Okay? They are permitted to do this, to leave a school in January and come back to that school in May. Okay? They're just taking advantage of the system as it currently is set up for them to make these transactional decisions between different schools. But let's not kid ourselves. It's a screwed up system. The system is screwed up. I don't know anybody that likes this system. Now, maybe the players like it. Maybe the players like this system. I haven't talked to a lot of people that like this system right now in college football. There is no way on earth that players should be allowed to leave a school in January and come back to said school in May. Nowhere on earth where that should be the case. But that's what we have right now. This system is so messed up right now that the president of the United States said over the weekend that he's about to put his hand into the mix to try to figure out how to fix this. If President Donald Trump can fix college football, there might be a whole lot of people that want him to run for a third term. If he can fix college football, because the system is a mess right now. An absolute mess. The other thing I want to say about this is, again, Keyan Burnett, excellent young man. If this is what ultimately makes him happy, if what makes Keyan Burnett happy is to come back to the University of Arizona and finish his college career, ultimately, I think that's what we all want. We want these kids to be happy. Okay? And if he was not happy at Kansas State and this current system allows him to go back to the school that he came from and that's going to make him happy, then so be it. But this system has got to be fixed. It has got to be fixed, and it's got to be fixed quickly. Because moving forward, we can't have situations like this. We cannot have situations where kids leave a school in January and come back to a school in May. It just cannot happen. I want to hear your thoughts on that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I want to hear from the parents in the room. I want to hear from the parents. We're hoping to have a chance to talk to Chester Burnett later in the week. Reached out to him. He's doing some traveling today, so he's not available. We hope to chat with him later in the week to get a better sense. Because, again, I think the parents and the players are the only ones that right now who can really explain what is going on. Because all we do is we see what's happening, but we can't really explain what's going on. And I really want to hear if you're a parent who's a parent of a high school football player and you want to call in right now and kind of explain this, how this is working right now, how you're viewing this right now, how you're approaching these transactional decisions with your student athlete, I'd love to hear from you. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Again, I'm not angry with the players. I'm angry with the system that's allowing this to happen. So, in other words, I'm angry with the adults in the room who are allowing this system to be set up like this to where kids can just, like you go and you transfer and you're in school for like 3 months and then you leave. That cannot be productive for anyone. That cannot be productive for the student athlete. That cannot be productive for the school itself. That student athletes are allowed currently to be able to do this.
DK, it almost sounds like you're arguing for a pre-COVID transfer rules, which was that you had to sit out. The incentive for the schools, right, during the era prior to COVID, where student athletes did need to sit out for a period of time before they were eligible to play for that team, kind of limited those transfers, right? Because you really had to make a sound decision because you're going to be waiting 9 months, 12 months before you can get back on the field. I will say the most successful conference in modern history, they don't allow spring transfers within the SEC. The SEC banned spring portal window. And you think about that, what does that mean? Well, those teams that might be involved in late playoff pushes, right? Those teams are the ones who generally don't want to have their players poached. And so the SEC has a conference rule where if you transfer in the spring, you cannot be immediately eligible if you go to a conference rival. So you cannot transfer from an SEC school to another school and maintain instant eligibility unless you do it during the winter transfer portal window,
right,
which is mid-December to late December.
So you can transfer from Auburn to Alabama in the winter window, but what you're saying is you can't do that in the spring window.
The SEC does not allow players to maintain instant eligibility if you leave during the transfer spring window.
I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds much more
common
manageable.
sense, DK. It's common sense.
Exactly. Much more manageable than what we've got right now happening in college football. I don't know that I've heard another situation like well, we did. I take that back. We did. The quarterback that transferred from Purdue to North Carolina did the same thing. Went to North Carolina, went through spring ball with Belichick. He probably saw the writing on the wall there with everything that's happening there and the mayhem that's surrounding that program and saying, I don't want any part of this, and went back to Purdue. So that's at least 2 instances where that has happened this spring, where a player left one school, went to another school, and now it's transferring back to the old school. It is nuts, to say the least. Nuts, to say the least. 520-848-1290. And then how do you, coaches, I mean, and this might be the first question I ask Brent Brennan the next time we talk to him is, how do you deal with that as a coach? So now you've got these kids who stayed, your Sam Olsons, your Tyler Powells, and all these kids who stayed and went through spring ball, who got all these reps and are fighting for this opportunity, and now you're going to let a player come back and usurp them? What's the penalty for that? Like, if it was me, and again, I like to put that hat on. If I was Brent Brennan, you would be at the bottom of the depth chart. You can come back and you can try to win your spot back, but right now you're going to be working with the 3s or the 4s until you show us and put in the time and put in the work that all these kids that stayed put in. I can't imagine in any planet where a coach would allow a kid to come back at the top of the depth chart.
I can foresee one, which is an era where coaches get fired after 2 years of not having success, right? I think we're just bottom line, DK, in an era where college coaches making upwards of $3-5 million a year, especially in Coach Brennan's situation where he's coming from a semi-smaller school, the first big shot at being the head coach at a major, power forward university. I think a lot of the decisions get made as what on paper could get us the closest chance to get a victory, right? And I think those days of having players. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Olsen and those guys you just mentioned within that system, new coordinator, right?
Yeah.
Guys who have been in the system, understand.
New tight end coach.
There you go. Understand exactly what the new staff is trying to do with this offense. They're much more well-read in. And at the end of the day, game one, don't you think that coaches in the modern era are going to put whoever out there they think will give them the best chance to win?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, well, absolutely. Absolutely, they're going to do that. But, man, I'm not doing it right away. Even for face value, I would come in and you're the first 4 or 5, or maybe in the first week of practices, you're working with the 4s. You're out there with the scout team.
Back to like freshman year carrying bags, right?
You're with the scout team, right? And then maybe 2 weeks in, just for show. Yeah, you're gonna have to work. There's a ladder. There's a ladder you're gonna have to climb to get back in. I can't imagine a coach, any coach. I don't care if your job is on the line. You got to have some self-respect. You got to have some moral compass. I can't imagine any coach who would just to let a kid walk back in and be at the top of the depth chart. We'll ask Kelvin Ifan. He is going to join us. The captain will join us. We'll get his thoughts on all of this. I just cannot imagine if I'm a coach, if I were Brent Brennan, that I would allow a kid to come back in who just transferred in January and be at the top of the depth chart. Not on my watch. I'll let you come back, but you got to work your ass off to get yourself back into a position where you're going to be in that starting lineup once again. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Want to hear your thoughts on the return of Keyan Burnett to the Arizona Wildcats. How do you feel about it? Ultimately, you're the paying customer here. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the fact that this young man, again, great young man, left your program and now decided to come back? Are you cool with that? Have you accepted that is just what this is now? And, hey, if we can get a great tight end back, a great kid back in our program again, a kid that we really liked having in our program, if we can get him back, we'll take him back. I want to hear from you on that. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Kelvin Ifan will join us. We're going to talk some basketball later with a legendary writer for the Chicago Bulls named Sam Smith. He's been covering the Chicago Bulls now for 38 years. We're going to get his thoughts on Dalen Terry, the first 3 years of Dalen Terry in the NBA. Cricket right now is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported might experience restrictions and backups at First Avenue and Ina, Oro Valley, Oracle and Hardy, Lambert Lane and Thornydale, Grant and Tankerverde, and also Park Avenue to the north of Bilby. Got a chance of showers, 53 the overnight low, 70 tomorrow, and 65 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
A Cavs loss presents an opportunity. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Cleveland was a massive favorite to take down Indiana, but the Cavs now trail 0-1 in the series. Cleveland is available at a discount, and if you put the Cavs with the Celtics and Thunder just to win the series, it's a -110 price. How does it lose? I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app.
Since I turned 40, I just don't get
Genix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh yeah, the key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CUT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CUT to 42424. That's CUT to 42424. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Prostate cancer screening is a simple blood test. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Men, it's your life. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. That's why it's so important to talk to your doctor about getting tested. If you want info on how to take action, the Prostate Cancer Foundation is here to help. Go to pcf.org to learn more about prostate cancer and how you can advocate for yourself. Remember, it's your life, and it's a simple blood test. Get it done.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
With Trainmasters in Tucson, not only do you get local, professional, full-service plumbing with 24/7 scheduled or emergency service, you get a lifetime transferable warranty on all house water repiping. Trainmasters, we do it all. Solid service, fair price, guaranteed. TrainmastersTucson.com.
Hey, honey, we should probably take flowers to the Johnsons. Let's see who's open. Nothing nearby.
We're right here. Can he seriously not see us?
No, he can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local florists. Get a boost. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Goodfellasac.com.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's the Wildcat Hour, which means it's time for our Arizona Insiders. Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A football, basketball, and the Big 12. So bear down, Wildcat Nation, and let's talk Arizona football basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, choose chill.
All right, let's talk to the captain, Kelvin E. Fawn, U of A football class of 1998. Kelvin, Keyan Burnett is coming back to Arizona after he left in the early portion of the year to transfer to Kansas. Apparently, Kansas was not the place, and now he is back here in Tucson, or going to be back here in Tucson with the U of A. And in case you didn't check or weren't around for the first part of the show, my issue with this, and we obviously know this family, great family, Keyan, great kid. If this ultimately is what makes Keyan happy, then I think we all want Keyan to be happy. My issue is with this system, because this is just not, I don't believe this is the kind of system that we want in not only college football, but college athletics that allows our student athletes to be transactional in this way, where you can leave one school in January and then make a decision to come back to that school in May.
I mean, I think you already know how I feel. I'm kind of smiling and laughing because, you know, man, it's the day and age where guys come and play for 1 year. They transfer from all over to come play for you. You know, back in the day we had JUCOs, we had transfers, so it's not nothing new, as I always say. But I just feel like that, you know, in this instance, when you're talking about Burnett, I just feel like that, you know, there's a connection. I mean, you got to think about it. Him and Noah, they go way back. Mm-hmm. You know, you put your name in the portal. It's almost like, to me, I thought about it, Carter Bryant putting his name into the NBA, you know, draft. A little different because of the success of the different players, but at the same time, you kind of put your name out there and kind of see, you know, what's in the air for you. And maybe you think you want to grow up and, you know, go on your own because his dad went here and he kind of want to get up from under his dad's wing. So he go out to Kansas, and guess what? He figured out that I don't want to be out here with Dorothy. You know, I want to go back to Tucson. You know, so I just feel a little bit different about it. Not even with him. I don't really care who the guys are. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. You know, and we always said that years ago, and I just still feel that way today.
Kelvin Ifan just dropped a Wizard of Oz on the program. I don't want to be out there with Dorothy. Wow. I like that, Kelvin. Kudos to you on coming up with that one. Kelvin Ifan, the captain, joining us, class of 1998. Okay, so then let's walk through the return of this, Kelvin, and how this plays within the team. And I want you to put your coach hat on here. Because, I put my coach hat on, and I said, okay, again, we'll take, like you mentioned, Keyan's family. He knows Noah. His dad's a legacy. We really enjoyed having him here, so we want to have him back. We're going to have him back. But do you just, is there any type of, and I don't want to say, maybe the wrong word is, I don't want to say punishment, but do you bring a kid back and immediately put him back at the top of the depth chart, or do you have to make him work for it? You say, hey, do you say, hey, we had kids, we had Tyler Powell, we had Sam Olsen that stayed here and they went through the spring and they earned their way up this depth chart, and you don't just come back in here and be the number one guy on the depth chart. What does Coach Kelvin Ifan say to that?
Oh, yeah. As a coach and a former captain, no way you come right in and get your starting position back. You're going to have to work for that over the summer. Like you said, his guys worked all through the spring and put themselves in position. But here you go again. Now I'm going to put my coach hat on again. Well, I may be bringing him back because I don't like what I got. I may be bringing him back because I remember what he had, and I'm looking at what we got, and I'm thinking, you know what? He may be a good addition to the room. You got a new offensive coordinator. You know he wants as many weapons that he can get. Mm-hmm. Come on now. So I'm not going to turn down a 6'5" guy that could spread out wide and catch passes from a quarterback that he played receiver in high school with, or a guy that can line up and play tight end for us as well. Because I think in this offense, in this spread, one and shoot, or whatever we want to call it, I think that he has an opportunity to possibly line up wide or line up in the slot and take advantage of some of his size, because I watched a lot of Texas Tech football, growing up, and watching that system. They always had 6'5", 6'6" guys on the perimeter that was huge in their offense.
How much, and obviously you got Seth Deggy, you were talking about kind of what they were doing down in Texas Tech. Also a key maybe component in this is that when he left, obviously they didn't have an offensive coordinator. They didn't have a tight ends coach, Josh Miller, who also recruited Keyan out of high school. How much do you think that played into this? He saw, okay, well, this is they were able to go out and get some guys, and Josh Miller, who he's familiar with, a coach that recruited me, maybe that is the right situation now for me. And again, I guess it goes back to the fact that, okay, you get into the portal, and now you got to make this quick decision before you even have time to wait. You can't even wait anymore and find out, let me see who they get. Let me see who the offensive coordinator is. Let me see who the tight ends coach is. Now, of course, he could have done that. He could have stayed and gone through the spring and played it that way versus leaving and then playing the card to come back. But yeah, it just, again, how much of that is, you think, that he's got some guys now that he likes and is familiar with, and he's seen kind of the system that they're trying to put together here?
I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. For a coach that recruited you and you have a pretty good relationship, because I'm sure he wouldn't be coming back to play for that tight end coach if he didn't have a good relationship with him in recruiting. So to come back with that guy, you're familiar with Brett. I mean, again, he's a inside guy. He's a Wildcat from back in his day as a graduate, and his brother being a wide receiver coach. So, no, man, I just think you welcome him back into the family, man. You get back to work on the things that you needed to be worked on. I think it was great for him, actually, to get a chance to get away sometime. I always say how families are, just like a family member that said, I'm moving out. I'm done with y'all. And then he get out there on his own and he realized, you know what, I need to get back closer to my family and, and go and take care of business before I venture out, too far on my own. So, hey, you welcome the people back to your family. You get them incorporated in what we're doing. We're not bending for you. We still going to have our standards now, but you welcome them back into the family and try to, bring them in and so he can be, a contribution.
Captain Kelvin Efon is our guest, class of 1998. Okay, so obviously we've seen Keyan play for 3 years. Sat a couple years behind, a very, very good tight end in McLaughlin, and Tyler McLaughlin. Had an opportunity last year, got injured a little bit early, so probably played the majority of the season at less than 100%. Never really was on, the footing you probably want him to be on. So what do you want to see? What's the next step for him now, do you think, to put himself in that position where he can be a guy that, as your dog sounds like he's going crazy back there for you?
Oh, yeah, I stepped in. Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is for him is just to come in, man, and get back into this new playbook, get with this new offensive coordinator, get that connection going with Noah. Because I think now going into his junior year, you're really going to really learn what he, really has to bring to the table. Number one, if you're going to play tight end, you got to be able to block. You have to block. You got to be able to set that edge where you can get your backs can get around there, knock people off the ball. So that's something that he's going to have to be able to do. And then secondly, man, you got to get involved in that offense catching the football, man. So you do those two things, man, and people will forget that you even left for a couple weeks.
Kelvin Efon joining us, chatting about the return of Keyan Burnett to the Arizona Wildcats. We want to hear from you on that today, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Kelvin, as we get into what is commonly known as the player-run practice portion of the football schedule here, with school about to be out and the guys will be kind of with themselves and all of that, what are the most important aspects of what the guys need to be trying to get done during this next really 8 weeks leading into the start of fall camp?
Well, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, is you want to get some extra classes in. I know you don't want to hear us talk about classes, but, during the fall, man, it'd be so tough, man. You're so locked into football that if you can get that advantage of getting some summer school in, pre-session, first session, to get ahead, to get some good A's and B's to help that GPA, I think first and foremost, that's what you do, getting with your tutors and everything. And then after that, man, I think the next biggest thing is hanging out together, having barbecues, having domino games, whatever, going to laser tags, all the things that the kids do today, right? Just hanging out together and trying to get to know each other and start to find the commonalities and start to, have that love for each other where you're ready to fight in battle. And then hit that weight room. I mean, we're in that weight room. We talking trash. I mean, we getting stronger. I mean, we just getting that mentality. Everybody watching each other work. It just makes you believe in each other even more. And then you're on that football field for 1-on-1s and 7-on-7s, man. That's another way of us, having that camaraderie. I know I messed that word up.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, I messed it up. Okay, there we go. and so I feel like that it just gives you that chance to get together, man, and get tight, have a couple battles, go head to head, some seniors, knock over a couple freshmen, and you bond, man. And because to me, the summer is game time. The summer is, once you start camp, is game time. So you have to get ready together, because the best teams are the player-led teams. That's the teams that have the leaders and the guys that they look up to each other. Yes, the coaches put in the game plans, but when it comes to, pushing each other and holding each other accountable, it's those player-led teams. And it's all those workouts that coaches can't be a part of. They're not at our barbecues. They're not at our weightlifting. They're not at our 1-on-1s and 7-on-7s in the summer. That's all us. And so when we look at each other in that huddle, when the coaches can't be in that huddle, we can look at each other eye to eye and know, and I can say to the next guy, man, I know the work you put in. I know we deserve this. I know we should have this, man. Let's stay together. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that summer is about.
I'm glad you brought up the academic piece and how important that is at this time of the year. You got the 2 summer sessions, summer 1 and summer 2. That'll be coming up, and that is so critical indeed to make sure that you keep your academics right during this downtime where, like you mentioned, it's workouts, it's lifting, it's summertime player run practice, but it's not, like you said, it's not game time yet, so you can kind of focus on those other things to get yourself right for when August comes around. Kelvin, before we let you go, what do you got? What are your takes on the NBA playoffs to this point?
Man, that boy Anthony Davis was a bad boy. I mean, not Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards. I said Anthony Edwards. Yeah, Anthony Edwards. That boy a bad boy, man. Sometimes when I close my eyes and squint a little bit and he changed that uniform to red, I be seeing another guy, But, man, that guy, just how competitive he is, man, and watching him play. I mean, just the overall NBA playoffs at all. I don't like watching during the season, but the playoffs is real basketball, man, because these guys are, playing like their life is on the line. And did you see Westbrook after he beat the LA Clippers, send them boys home? Yeah, man, that's what it's about. Clippers didn't want him around, didn't want to give him, put him on the bench, and he go out there to Denver, man, and find a home and then come back to his real hometown, LA, and then tell all the people to go home. So yeah, man, that's basketball right there.
Kelvin Ifan. Kelvin, I appreciate you jumping off the summer break from us to join us for a little conversation. We look forward to talking more football with you as the months go on.
All right, guys. Brother, I'll see y'all soon.
All right, Kelvin Ifan, the captain, class of 1998. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We got much more coming up for you. We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can text us your thoughts on the return of Keyan Burnett. You can call us with your thoughts on the return of Keyan Burnett. Should he be able to just walk right back in and be at the top of the depth chart? Should Brent Brennan and Seth Dagey and Josh Miller make him earn his way back to the top of the depth chart?
Question, can they call in and give us a recipe for their favorite margarita instead?
Oh, let's see. Cinco de Mayo. Yes. Any opportunity for a little Drinko de Mayo, you can also do that. In fact, maybe we'll make our question of the day. I was thinking about that. I don't have a question of the day yet. Where's the best place? Where are you going to be tonight? Tell us where you're going to be tonight for Cinco de Mayo. DK on the sports tip. It is Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Cortero and I-10, First Avenue and Ina, Oracle and Hardy, and also Lambert Lane and Thornydale. And roadwork might cause some backups, especially during rush hour on Nogales Highway between Los Reales and Valencia. And for our weather, chance of showers, 53 the overnight low, 70 tomorrow, and 65 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket.com is the new home for all things home ownership. Whether you're buying your first home, finding your next one, or unlocking home equity to fund one of your dreams, there's only one destination that has everything you need to get started, all under one roof. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaskifications?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at AlaskanAC.com.
My best friend died suddenly, and now his wife and kids have to move out of their house. I had no idea he didn't have life insurance. If I could go back, I'd tell him how easy and affordable protecting your family can be with SelectQuote.
In 15 minutes, a licensed insurance agent found me a $500,000 life insurance policy for only $18 a month. They compare many of the nation's most highly rated insurance carriers to find the right coverage and price for your needs. In the last 40 years, they've helped more than 2 million families secure over $700 billion in coverage. Even if you have a health concern, SelectQuote agents can find you the right policy at the lowest price. Don't wait until it's too late. Get peace of mind that your loved ones are protected with life insurance.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-480-5454 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-480-5454. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-480-5454.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-source single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about?
A Cinco de Mayo party tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Maybe I'll see if I can get somebody to come in and maybe do some mixology. And
It's just sweet and sour that we're drinking on air, right? Like there's no actual adult cocktails in there. Yeah.
Whatever.
Mocktails.
We need to do. Exactly.
Insert
Mocktails.
big wink, nudge, nudge.
DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3, right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live. When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
I'm Bill Ryder of the Sports Minute. The Golden State Warriors might just win the whole damn thing. Their Game 7 victory over the Houston Rockets is a stark reminder for the rest of the West and the rest of the NBA that when Steph Curry has a Jimmy Butler and a motivated and highly functioning Draymond Green and a guy like Buddy Hield hitting shots and the history of excellence that he's always carried with him, they can beat anybody anytime. Watch out. The Warriors are coming. I'm Bill Ryder.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger, who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, if you download our app, the Wildcats Radio 1290 app, You can find a number of different stories that we are talking about. In fact, one which we mentioned in the first hour, and it has been the topic of conversation, and that is the current state of college football. Well, it came out over the weekend that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, may be at a point where he starts to take a closer look at what's going on in college football. Could we be soon to getting an executive order from the president on NIL? I would be interested to see how that's going to work.
I think
for sure.
The big problem, DK, is collective bargaining, right? So they're still kind of trying to clean that mess up and the whole suing to become unions. Because when you consider college athletes as employees, there's a whole bunch of laws surrounding that, right? So NIL is a problem. Transferring, the whole conversation today is, should a player be able to transfer from their school to another school and back within 6 months, right? But relative to the NIL and transfer portal to begin with, the collective bargaining that's going to come down soon, it's hard to really even imagine a landscape until that gets settled first, right?
Yes, the House ruling. Exactly.
Yeah, so the House ruling on collective bargaining and the actual status of a college athlete and how that applies to them earning money directly from revenue, that's the big sticking point as far as it seems to me. And once that's established and there's actually a better understanding of how these college athletes will get paid directly from revenue, then I think you won't maybe see as many NIL transfers back and forth. Right now, Wild West, right? I mean, right now, NIL's collectives are springing up, some schools better than others, but how do you balance that with 500-plus schools, right? So they got to have some kind of common ground and a level playing field relative to how the student-athletes will get paid to begin with before we can even move on. I mean, that's really the sticking point as far as I can see is collective bargaining.
The Wall Street Journal reported over the weekend that President Donald Trump has asked his aides to begin researching the creation of an executive order to better control the name, image, and likeness landscape in college sport. President Trump was the keynote speaker, or the commencement speaker, I should say, last week at the University of Alabama, and he met with legendary Hall of Fame coach Nick Saban while he was down there to discuss all of this. And so we'll see kind of where that conversation goes.
We know Nick Saban doesn't like the NIL, right?
No.
Because Alabama got the top class for 12 consecutive years prior to NIL.
Right.
So in a landscape where the Crimson Tide have the best talent on the field year in, year out, that's Kentucky under Calipari, right? I think the NIL situation, you see a lot of players staying at smaller schools or finding a way to launch their careers from a Division II or whatever school to a bigger school based on the NIL money that they can receive. So those schools like the Alabama footballs, Kentucky basketball, so forth, I think those are the ones who the past 50 years have always gotten that top talent in. We've always heard stories of under-the-table things. I'm not pointing fingers, even as far back as John Wooden, right? I mean, we all know that it hasn't been squeaky clean leading up to the COVID and NIL era that we're in now. But, yeah, I mean, I could understand why Coach Saban maybe doesn't like the current landscape because it's not the same as when he was winning all those titles, DK. They could get basically their choice of who they wanted, and if some other school offers a little more money, that could be enough. It's no longer play for that solely for that name on the front of the jersey like it used to be.
President Trump has also discussed NIL with Senator Tommy Tuberville, who, of course, is the former head football coach at Auburn before he got out of football and got into politics. The NCAA has not commented on the Wall Street Journal report that came out over the weekend. So we will await to see if the president decides to delve his hand into some type of narrative that will at least maybe begin down the road. Now, ultimately, I mean, President Trump can come up with an executive order, but Congress is likely going to be the ones that are going to have to get involved. in order for anything that the president might want in this respect to become binding for these colleges and universities. So will remain to be seen. There's reports that the budget for football at the University of Texas, of course, Texas has more money than God, could reach as much as $40 million this coming season. $40 million is what the budget for football is expected to be at the University of Texas this coming fall. I don't believe that the budget at the University of Arizona is going to be anywhere near $40 million next year.
You know that old quote about like nothing happens forever and then everything happens in a week, that whole thing? It seems like my whole lifetime, DK, the NCAA, it's just such a grinding, slow process. I mean, how long does clearinghouse issues take to resolve?
Right.
It's always a long time. So it's always that slow, methodical way of doing business. And in the last 4 years, I hate to harken back to it, but ever since COVID, DK, ever since then, it really jump-started. First of all, they changed the rules where you could transfer and be immediately eligible. Then they settled the situation with UCLA basketball, if you really want to go back to the O'Bannons and how all of that, the NIL kind of came from that era. And now we're in a land, it just seems like it's shifting and shaping, even the conference realignment. Everything that's happened in the last 5 years after, decades and decades of slow moving decision making and let's run this through a committee and figure out, now all of a sudden everything's just sign a pen. Oh yeah, well now players get paid. That's just how it works now. Deal with it.
There you go. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Coming up, we are going to talk some basketball. This will be in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to talk some basketball with Sam Smith. Sam Smith covered the Bulls during their championship runs in the 1990s. He's been on the beat in Chicago for 38 years. He has seen everything that is Chicago Bulls basketball in this era. He now makes his part-time home out here in Arizona. And we're going to chat with him about Dalen Terry. Dalen completing his 3rd season with the Chicago Bulls. They played more minutes this year, averaged about 15 minutes per game. Did Dalen, got some starts down the stretch. I believe he started 5 games this season. He's only had 7 starts in his 3 seasons with the Chicago Bulls, but did start some games down the stretch, played a lot of minutes towards the end as the Bulls kind of, found a groove to get into the playoffs once again, to get into the play-in tournament once again. But they haven't been able to get past that round in any of Dalen Terry's 3 years with the club. So we'll get a sense from Sam Smith on where Dalen Terry is at this point. He's going into year 4. He's got they exercised his player option for this season prior to the beginning of the year, but he's also eligible for an extension. So I think the big question is, are they at a point where they would extend that contract based on what they've seen in the first 3 years, or are they willing to let Dalen play out the last year of his rookie contract? He signed a 4-year, $15 million deal after he was drafted in the first round to play out the final year of the contract and then maybe make a decision on where they go moving forward if he's a guy that they want to keep around. But the Bulls certainly are not the Bulls of old and haven't been for a long time.
No, they're not. One of the Dalen Terry's issues is Mattis Bucelis. Are you familiar? He's a rookie they drafted last year, 6'10", forward, a very similar style of player who is super explosive, and one of the biggest talks of this NBA season, DK, was how impressive he was as a rookie this year. A lot of people super high on that young man, a very similar playing style. So that whole thing of being recruited over Dalen Terry, as we all know, a Swiss Army knife, really a little bit of everything, good rebounder, great court vision, never really had that outside shot, is obviously working on that and developing it. Unfortunately, in the modern NBA, DK, you might be a rookie who sits on the bench to learn, and by your sophomore or 3rd year, there may be somebody else come around on that roster who is more efficient and contributing at a higher clip. And unfortunately for Dalen, I think last year and this year were the years that they expected him to maybe get more PT and have a bit of a breakthrough season. And, yeah, Mattis just kind of came out of nowhere. Not nowhere. I think he was the 11th pick in last year's NBA draft, so clearly he was a highly thought-of guy. They got rid of DeRozan, so that was another guy who basically plays the same position. But what does Zach LaVine play? I mean, he's a bit of a similar style, and he got traded off as well. Kobe White's there. They just have a little bit of a mix, a patchwork roster, I would say, the Bulls do, and a lot of movement with that franchise and that organization, people coming and going the last few years. And Lonzo Ball, who was one of their better players 4 years ago. He hasn't played in quite a few years, came back this year for the first time. It's just a little bit of an odd situation there in Chicago.
Well, they actually got better after they traded Zach LaVine. They were one of the better teams record-wise down the stretch. I think they won 17 of their last 22 games down the stretch.
I like Kobe White, and your guy Vucevic, obviously USC Trojan. He's still there. Josh Giddey, they got from Oklahoma City. He had some issues with OKC, but Giddey can't be more than 22, 23. He's very young as well. He does not have – here's the problem. They want Josh Giddey out there because he's one of the better passing players for his size, really, really savvy court vision, but one of the poorer shooters for his position. So, again, if Dalen Terry's out there doing all those things and there's somebody who can do it a little bit better at that same spot like Josh Giddey, then unfortunately, if that player's better at all those little intangible things that you do, DK, and they're both equal shooters, then that's the guy who's going to get PT over you. So it's really just a matter of if he could become a 42% clip, open shooter in modern NBA, he's going to find a spot just because he's always going to get after it defensively.
So we'll talk to Sam Smith and get his thoughts on everything Chicago Bulls and particularly Dalen Terry and what his future might be in the Windy City. DK on the sports tip. Cricket is going to get you home, as she always does, every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and weather. Hour 2 straight ahead on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported on Bilby east of Nogales Highway, Cortero Road at I-10, First Avenue in Ina, Lambert Lane in Thornydale, and up north in Oro Valley, Oracle and Hardy. Chance of showers in 53, the overnight low, 70 tomorrow and 65 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Your home for U of A football.
Nobody will catch him. Touchdown, Arizona.
Men's basketball.
Midcourt. Shot is up. Good.
And baseball.
Here comes the winning run. And the Cats have won it.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaska vacations?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at AlaskaAC.com.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins.
I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start May 14th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Arizona baseball is on the hunt for a Big 12 championship.
Up the middle, that'll go through for a base hit. White scores, Guzman around third. He is headed home.
Catch all the action with Brian Jeffries right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
The Arizona weather is hard on your heating and cooling system. One day you're running your heat at full blast. The next day we're running our air conditioning. Good news, Rightway is running a $59 complete system tune-up. We'll come out and tune up both your AC and furnace from top to bottom for just $59. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. We'll even include a complimentary refrigerant leak check at no charge. Call or text Rightway at 520-640-2665 for your $59 tune-up special.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. No one is talking Roadrunners, Sugar Skulls, and FC Tucson like us. We are Southern Arizona's #1 sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
This one lifted out into the outfield. It's gone! Home run, Miranda Stoddard, and it is the second grand slam for the Cats this weekend.
A 3-game sweep for the number 13 Arizona softball team on the road at Houston to wrap up the regular season. Arizona finishes the season at 43-10. They went 17-7 in the Big 12 Conference, the third Big 12 sweep of the season for the ladies. And now it is on to the Big 12 tournament, which will be this coming week in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So everything goes through Oklahoma City. You start in Oklahoma City to hopefully get back to Oklahoma City. Wildcats will play the first game, their first game of the championship on Thursday, so they get a bye in that first round. They'll await the winner of Central Florida and Utah, which will be played on Wednesday. And so the Wildcats will play that in the quarterfinal as the number 2 seed. That'll be the 7-10 game between the Utes and the Knights. So Thursday, and this is like baseball. It's single elimination, these tournaments now. In the past, at least in baseball, they were double elimination format. This is single elimination or pool play format, in fact, in the Pac-12 last year and the year before. But these are single elimination tournaments now. So really one loss and you're out. And so the Wildcats will play Thursday. If they win, they'll play in the semifinals on Friday. And if they win that, they'll play on Saturday in the championship game. All 3 potential of those games will be carried on KTUC Freedom 1400. So we will have softball for you coming up this weekend. The first game being played on Thursday, will be at 3 o'clock our time, 3 o'clock Tucson time. So Derek Palmer will have the call on that. We'll get with Derek either tomorrow or Wednesday to get a preview of what is to come in Oklahoma City.
I kind of like this tournament in Oklahoma City because they are about 2 blocks from the softball Hall of Fame, right? And that's been there since the 50s. So Softball Hall of Fame is in right next to Devon Park in Oklahoma City, and that's basically they're playing in Devon Park for this tournament. So that aspect of it I like.
And the baseball team over the weekend took 2 out of 3 from TCU, so that was a much-needed conference win for them. They got the first 2 games Friday and Saturday, came up a little short on Sunday in a slugfest. Slugfest. Gave up a few runs. But the Friday night's game, I was out there Friday night, just an exciting ball game. They continue to get outstanding play.
They were down 4-1, right?
No, that was Saturday night.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah, that's what I meant, Saturday.
Yes,
Yeah.
beverage beer night. I was out there on Friday night.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday night. Aaron Walton continues to play well. He had a couple of home runs on Friday night. And then Saturday night, where they rallied from being down 4-1. Brendan Summerhill pinch hit late and got the sac fly to drive in the go-ahead run in a 5-4 win. So the Wildcats in a nice position now as they'll play a non-conference game tomorrow night against GCU on the
Late
road.
game.
That'll actually be the rubber game. It'll be a 7 o'clock start. You'll hear that game as well with Brian Jeffries right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Be playing with the Moths.
The Moths.
Yeah, after the lights come on late.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll be home on this coming weekend. The Wildcats will be back home for a series against the Utah Utes. So looking forward to that opportunity. The Utes currently obviously in last place in the Big 12 at 5-19. So right now after the weekend, we had a 2-way tie for third place last weekend. Now we've got a 3-way tie for third place in the Big 12. Virginia's still on top at 18-4. Arizona State now at 16-8. So they are 3 games out, 3 games behind West Virginia in second place. And then Kansas, Arizona, and TCU are all tied for third place at 15-9. So you'd really like to sweep Utah this weekend at home, because if you do that, you probably going to put yourself in a nice position going into that final series, which will be down in Houston, Texas against the Cougars.
Speaking of series, they've only lost 1 series this year in conference, right? To Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor.
Yeah, so the only 1 series, DK, have they lost in this first year in the Big 12 conference.
Pretty impressive so far. And like I said, it's been and it's interesting because we talked about in basketball, the transition to the Big 12 and how playing in that more difficult conference was going to help. I think this is. I'm not sure if this is real similar. You got some. I think this conference, obviously, if you just look at the records, is more top heavy than balanced all the way through in terms of the baseball side. And the other thing I worry about on the softball side is this: clearly, the Big 12 in softball is not what the Wildcats left in the Pac-12.
It was 2 years ago, right?
Exactly.
I mean, when you lose Texas and Oklahoma, they lost their heavy hitters in that conference as well.
And so you wonder how prepared the conference made the softball team. Because, again, they cruised through it. They've only lost 10 times. They finished second. They went 17-7. But they still didn't necessarily get challenged from a whole lot of teams in this new Big 12 softball conference as well. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out this week with the tournament, and we're going to find out, obviously, if the Wildcats have an opportunity to host, which they should have an opportunity to host coming up.
How many teams host? 12? 16?
16 teams get to host.
Yeah, they're 13th right now in net rankings.
Right.
Are the Cats. So, yeah, they're right in that conversation.
Breaking news of sorts in the NFL today, which has an effect on a recently drafted Arizona Wildcat. How about this? The Baltimore Ravens have released kicker Justin Tucker. We talked about this a little bit last week, that this might be what happened because Justin Tucker is facing some pretty serious allegations of inappropriate contact with 16 massage therapists.
Yeah, one is enough, DK. 16. That's a little excessive.
Yeah, I think but I still think that's less than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. So over under 48 hours before he has a new gig.
Justin Tucker?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, everybody needs a kicker, right?
I mean, yeah. This is, and not just a kicker. This guy's the best kicker in the league.
Yeah, the best percentage kicker ever, right?
Yeah.
But last year, didn't he fall off a tiny bit? That the performance
probably
aspect of it
because
might
he
not.
had a lot
He might
over
not
his
have his
head.
agent might not be receiving calls off the hook right now just because of his performance last year. But in a vacuum, let's say he hadn't had a little bit down year kicking, he's definitely reliable.
Oh,
And
no
that's
question
every
about that.
single franchise is looking for a reliable kicker. So if you don't have one currently, I could imagine there's some people putting feelers out for sure.
I mean, next stop Canton, Ohio for this guy. I mean, if kickers start to get in, Justin Tucker is going to be at the top of the list at some point for a spot in Canton, Ohio. He's that good. He's been that good over the course of his career, but cut by the Baltimore Ravens, which means Tyler Loop is now going to be the guy in Baltimore. Just like that. Again, they picked Tyler Loop in the 6th round, kind of having a feeling maybe that this move with Justin Tucker was coming, and now Tyler Loop is going to be the guy.
You know, Tucker's only 19 field goals made behind Sebastian Janikowski. He's 12th all-time, DK, in field goals made in NFL history.
Yeah. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Of course, Tyler Loop last year missed just 5. He had 6 over 50 yards, had the 62-yarder, the career-long, a program record 62-yarder in the win over the Houston Cougars at the stadium. First kicker ever drafted. The Ravens have ever drafted. They didn't draft Justin Tucker. They drafted Tyler Loop. So that tells you a whole lot about how much or how highly they think of him, that he was a drafted player, and now he'll be at the forefront.
People may forget, right? But he came in with the accuracy. But on any kind of longer kicks, he was not in on the field, right? And that was as a freshman and
that's
sophomore.
because they had Lucas Haversack,
Yeah,
who
so
also had a
Haversack
booming
was
leg.
kicking anything longer than 50.
Yeah.
And now here we are, and he has just set the all-time record for longest kick in Arizona football history. So you combine those two factors, DK, when you're, basically automatic from anywhere 40 and under, and then you can add on the power to that leg. I mean, I am not surprised that he was drafted as the first kicker by the Ravens in their history. Let's put it that way.
Not at all. Not at all. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. We have a caller who is a texter on the text groove. We were talking about Keyan Burnett a lot in the first hour of the show. Keyan Burnett coming back to the University of Arizona after he transferred to Kansas. Texter says Keyan needs to prove himself again, and I think he probably realizes that. That being said, I don't think he'll have an issue reaching the top of the pecking order, considering K-State was probably offering him a little more money. It was actually Kansas was offering. We should be grateful for his willingness to return. That from a texter. And if you text in, now leave your name so we can shout you out. Be sure to leave your name when you text in to us at 520-848-1290 so we can be sure that we shout you out for your comments here on the show. 520-848-1290. We are joined not by Dragon Ball. That is not Dragon Ball over there. That is none other than Cricket. So, Cricket, do you hike?
Not regularly.
I
would like to.
You would like to?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So I am about as city mouse as they come.
Okay.
You know the story. City mouse, country mouse.
Oh,
you know that story?
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm city mouse for sure.
Okay.
But I went on a hike yesterday, and not just like a real kind of hike, like where you actually are going up. Like we were probably up about 1,400 feet in the air.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of hike up on Sabino Canyon. So my wife is training for one of those. She's going to do one of those rim-to-rim deals up at the Grand Canyon where you go from one side, the north rim, to the south rim or something of that nature. She's going to do something crazy like that because she's crazy like that.
She's crazy and crazy cool. Yeah.
She's crazy like that. So so she's got to start training for that. I think it's in like October or something.
Oh, wow.
Like I told, October. I'm not doing that because I have football.
You have stuff to do.
Great built-in excuse.
Right.
Great
Got
built-in
something
excuse.
other going on.
Right. I'd love to go hike the Grand Canyon with you,
I'd love to go hike the
honey.
Grand Canyon, but there's a football game that weekend.
What did you guys do? Blacketts Ridge?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good hike.
Yeah, that was the one. We didn't go all the way to the top though.
You got to go to. There's a plaque at the very end, and you could like get on your belly and look down. So if you ever take the tram up Sabino Canyon, you'll look to your. They'll say, "Hey, look to your right," and you'll see this large rock formation. Well, Blacketts Ridge is at the top of that.
Okay.
And you could look, straight down the rocks.
Yeah, we probably did. She tapped out.
Oh, did she? Oh, did she?
She tapped out about a mile before we got to the top.
It's no joke. That's like 7 miles up and back, and it's probably like 1,500, 2,000 foot elevation change. It's a good workout.
I tapped out. I tapped out after we got home and had breakfast. I think I slept for like 2 hours.
Time for a nap.
Exactly. But she's got the shoes and all this. But the thing I learned, because you always hear about people spraining their ankles and falling, it's coming down. Like going up is like actually, although you're climbing, going up is much easier than coming down. Coming down is where I think people really get hurt because it's just your.
Well, think about the way your knees bend, Cricket.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going forward if your momentum starts pitching you forward. I mean, I've hiked 1,000 miles in every mountain in Oregon and California and Arizona. If you get pitched forward and you're not able to stop your momentum, guess what? Especially on a steep trail like that, like there are parts of Blacketts Ridge where it's more or less a staircase down.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to stay on your toes and heel toe up the hill, up those steps, much easier to lean forward into the mountain than the other way around. Last time I was up there with my buddy Craig, it was raining, DK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so think about all those rocks, those basically steps that you take all the way up there. On the way, it started raining when we got up there to the very top in that meadow that's up at the top of Blacketts Ridge. And it started raining, and on the way down, we hiked down through basically a stream. That starts to get a little sketchy. Moisture and rocks and downhill on a hiking trail. Not fun.
Yeah. Well, my wife, she had the fancy boots. She's got a new set of like hiking boots that she had on. I'm like wearing my tennis shoes, and I'm hopping around like that girl in the commercial.
You're such an amateur.
You seen that? She's like, that's dangerous. You shouldn't be doing it. And I'm like, well, that's what the girl in the commercial. You've seen the girl in the commercial that has the feet. It's like she's got feet issues, and so she overcomes her feet issues, and so she could go hiking. And she's like hopping around like a kangaroo. That was me. That was me on the way down. My wife's like, you're gonna fall and hurt yourself.
Be careful.
Exactly. So yeah. So I went hiking. And I got more. We got more coming up on that. We'll talk more about it tomorrow because I got questions. After going hiking that I got to find. J-Dub seems to know a lot about it, so hopefully he can give us the answers to all that. Right now, Cricket is going to give you answers on getting home traffic-wise without falling and spraining your ankle or getting a flat tire.
We can only hope. And from the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported at Bear Canyon and Tanque Verde and also Bilby east of Nogales Highway. Some backups due to road work on southbound Nogales Highway approaching Los Reales and some slowing on southbound I-19 approaching and passing Irvington. There is a chance of showers, 53 the overnight low, 70 tomorrow and 65 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Plumbing, they'll help you with drain cleaning, water treatment, sewer repairs, and replacements. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected plumbing experts at CoolWillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's CoolWillies.com. CoolWillies.com.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Mid-court. Shot is up. Good. Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
And now, a no-frills ad sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned straightforward ad. See if you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaska vacations?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Hey, it's DK on the Sports Tip. Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage in town. Tell your Alexa device to play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Chris Sylvester with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Rookie mini camps were in full swing this weekend. The Eagles, Cowboys, Packers, Seahawks, Chiefs, and Ravens all taking their first look at the new class. Eagles GM Howie Roseman told SiriusXM's Mad Dog Sports Radio that after winning Super Bowl 59, Philly knows they've got a target on their backs. Roseman said, quote, "We understand that 2025 is a new year, and we haven't won a game. We're going to have to do our best and work our hardest to have the kind of season that we're looking for. And nothing in the past is going to guarantee future success." Cowboys have signed first-round pick Tyler Booker to a 4-year deal, according to NFL Network's Jane Slater. The 12th overall pick is the first in this year's first round to sign his rookie contract. He'll look to bolster the line after the retirement of future Hall of Famer Zach Martin. Panthers veteran receiver Adam Thielen, entering his 12th season, says 2025 may be his last in the NFL as he enters the final year of his contract. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Lowe's helps refresh your garden in time for Mother's Day. Right now, get 5 bags of 1.5 cubic foot Scott's Naturescapes mulch for just $10. Plus, select 1.5 gallon annuals hanging baskets make the perfect gift. Now 2 for only $15. The best garden starts with great deals. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I was mentioning to you to download our app, all kinds of great things on our app. Our app is sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions, so we appreciate all the folks over at Goodfellas Home Solutions for jumping on board with us. Right now, big news at the top of our app. Well, you know, we might as well talk about it now since it's at the top of the app. The Diamondbacks are back home tonight, and they have had to scratch their starting pitcher for tonight's game, Corbin Burns, as if the Diamondbacks don't have enough pitching issues this season already. Most of them are in the bullpen. A.J. Puck is out. Justin Martinez suddenly doesn't have any velocity anymore. Kevin Ginkel's back, though, and he's got 3 holds since he came back. Corbin Burns was supposed to start tonight's opener of the homestand against the New York Mets, but he's got some shoulder inflammation, so Ryan Nelson is going to get the start. Burns experienced the issues after his most recent outing. He was sent back to Phoenix during the road trip and underwent an MRI. Nothing serious was detected, said Arizona manager Torey Lovullo prior to tonight's ball game. So Burns 1-1, a 3.58 ERA, had made 6 starts. He will not go tonight. Ryan Nelson gets the start for Arizona.
What do you think of the new city jerseys? It came out today.
For the Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
I did not see those.
It's like a script.
I didn't see it.
Serpientes, Spanish for snakes.
Yeah. Now, is it different than the Serpientes, that kind of
I mean, it's just the
one that
standard
used?
Teal and purple. It's just a nice script.
New one.
Yeah, it's a nice script in the front, and they got a nice new. It looks new to me. I don't know if I've seen it before. The Diamondbacks kind of S snake logo. Looks like an ampersand. Actually, kind of looks like an and.
There you go. Well, let's hear how they wrapped up things in Philadelphia yesterday. The final out there, as recorded by my guy, Mr. Beeks, in the bullpen.
2 out, 3-2 on Kyle Schwarber in the 10th. And here it is. Naylor's got it to the bag, and he wins it. And the Diamondbacks take an 11-9 in Philadelphia in a wild one here. And they avoid a 3-game sweep.
Diamondback down low.
Baseball talk. Yeah, you don't want to be swept. The Phillies are a good team, but the Diamondbacks seem to be able to find ways to get that Sunday game. They got out of Dodge. It was not easy. Again, I mentioned they've had some issues at the back end of the bullpen with the injuries so far this season, and so they had a lot of guys pitching in a lot of different roles on Sunday at Citizens Bank Park, but they found a way to get it done. They were ahead in that ball game going into the bottom of the 9th. They were up 8-6, and the Phillies scored a couple of runs to tie the game and send it into extra innings. Diamondbacks would score 3 in the 10th and then would hold the Phillies to just a run in their half of the 10th. I mean, Shelby Miller, who had been pitching very well, he was the one that blew the save in the ninth. He ends up getting the win, though, and my guy in my bullpen on my fantasy team, Jalen Beeks, gets his first save of the season. I'm not sure if that's the first save of his career or not, but Jalen Beeks, let's see. Now, he's been around for a while. So he's got, let's see, how many saves in his career? 16. That was the 16th save of his career. He had 9 a few seasons ago for the Colorado Rockies. Jalen Beeks gets the save. You know, I won my fantasy game this week. You know what the final score was, J-Dub?
Tell me.
14-0.
Wow. So you got your roster set up this time.
14-0. That was after I screwed up my roster last Tuesday. I mean, it would have been a real easy 14-0 because it was close. It was close in a lot of categories. We had some categories that were like 1 or 2 point categories, but I was able to hang on and win 14-0. Now, this is the second time in my fantasy baseball career. So 14 is the max number of points you can get in any one week. And so this is the second time that I've won a week 14-0. I think the last time it happened, I pretty much gave back that plus 14 over the course of the next 3 weeks.
I always imagine that'd be difficult to do. I mean, like an outlier. Like that just doesn't happen.
No, it does not happen. I don't know. I've seen it. Maybe I've been in this fantasy league. I think now this is year 4, and I think it's maybe happened It's happened less than 10 times. But this is the second time it's happened for me. So very happy with the roster and the fellas getting it done. Torey Lovello, very happy with the way that his guys rallied after giving up the lead in the ninth.
You're up by 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and you have your closer, one of your best relief pitchers in the game. You expect to win the game. So the wave of emotion from that result and giving up that lead was heartbreaking. But like I said, we did a good job of fighting together and going out there and making it happen.
All right, so the Diamondbacks are back at home. They've got the Mets and the Dodgers for this week here at Chase Field. New pitcher tonight will be Ryan Nelson instead of Corbin Burns. J-Dub just texted me the City Connect jerseys. I like those. So basically, it's the same Serpentines logo.
Yeah.
It's just different. The coloring is different. They've moved away from that tan and black and gone to the more traditional teal and purple.
And coming from somebody who did do 6 months of typography class, DK, by the way, about boring 6 months you could ever face.
Right.
The way that they slant and the way that they use the curvature of the actual spelling of what is it?
Serpientes.
Yeah, Serpientes. The way that they curved it relative to the other one was like a flat, more static thing. I like that design change. It's good.
Very nice. Very nice for sure. I like it too. I like the colors. I think I didn't dislike the tan. I thought that was kind of different, but I think this purple just really pops more with the teal for sure. And it's more traditional Diamondbacks from the old days, from the 1990s Diamondbacks when they first entered the league.
Teal and copper is really like the best representation of Arizona, but it's so hard to do copper, right, as a color. Copper doesn't really pop unless it's like a metallic thing. So I think that's where that tan kind of came from initially. But I do think that incorporating the purple and teal, complementary colors, they work.
All right, so had a chance, a big weekend, and the Arizona men's tennis team advanced to the Sweet 16 for the 4th time in 5 years, their 3rd time in a row. I was out at Robson Tennis Center on Saturday. Great crowd out there for the match against Harvard. The Wildcats were able to get the doubles point to start things off. Clancy Shields said after the ball game that he didn't think his team could win the doubles point. He thought that they would be playing from behind, going into singles, but they were able to get the doubles point, so they had a little bit of an advantage. They only had to find 3 more wins on the 6 singles courts. And it was very interesting. It's kind of fun when you really get out there and you watch these things unfold. The Wildcats got 2 pretty easy wins in singles. They had their number 1 guy, Colton Smith, won 6-3. He's the captain, senior captain. He won 6-3. Final match for him at home at the Robson Tennis Center. And then their other senior, Casper Christian, won 6-love, 6-3. then it got real interesting after that because Harvard won the first set, I think, on 3 of the other 4 courts. And Jay Friend, who had only lost 1 time, he plays number 2 singles for Arizona. Jay Friend had only lost 1 match all season, and he was down 1 set. And then you had Philip Gustafsson on court 4, younger guy. I believe Philip is a freshman or a sophomore. He was up quickly, and I think he won the first set 6. I forget exactly what the first set was that he won, but he was up 5-1 in the second set. So, like, we're all running over to court 4 because, okay, Philip's about to close this out.
6-1 in the first.
Yeah, 6-1. So he won 6-1. He's up 5-1 in the second set. And he proceeds to lose the next 6 games in a row. And in doing so, blew 9 match points.
Wow.
9 match points did Philip blow in losing 6 straight games. And this kid that he beat from Harvard, I mean, absolutely was feeling no pressure. I mean, you're like literally like, if it was me, I'm out there, I'm down like match points, I would be like gripping. I would be holding the racket so hard, it would just be like I would probably break the handle.
Vladimir Pape.
Yeah. So Vladimir was literally playing to the cameras. Like, he wasn't playing. I was out there. He wasn't playing to me. Jenna Fink was out there from Channel 4. Aaron Christensen was out there from Channel 9. I mean, not Aaron Christensen. Aaron Patterson. Aaron Patterson was out there from Channel 9. He was playing to them. Like, they would come back, and he would, like, every time he would make a shot, he would turn over and look at Jenna and Aaron and, like, point his finger. It was hilarious. So then they would leave. So they would leave and go to another court, and Philip would, like, start playing well again, and then Jenna and Aaron would come back, and the kid from Harvard would just, like, start making shots. He was making shots.
Yeah, it's like that, man. Tennis is one of those. I mean, I can imagine, going up against a great pitcher is a similar experience, DK, where your first at bat, your second at bat, you just can't even see the ball. Sometimes that first set, clearly, Vladimir was struggling when you lose 6-1, and then you could flip it right back around where maybe you're hitting long, maybe your first serve just isn't going in. That's one of those moments, competitive tennis in a tournament, where your brain, you really have to get out of your feels. You really have to maintain your composure and just stay in that moment and believe that it's going to turn itself around, because you get lost in that hole. And then, like you said, 9 match points, you just start believing, right? I mean, at that point, when you're 9 times, you're on the verge of the match being over and you find a way to come back, then you believe you can do anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was great. It was absolutely great theater. So that young man Vladimir came back and won that second set. So now all of a sudden, Arizona's up 3-0. You got to get to 4 points. They're up 3-0, but now you're in 4 third sets. And you're starting to get a little nervous. You're like thinking, oh my gosh, can Philip come back after blowing 9 match points? What's his mentality going to be like on court 4? And so luckily, Jay Friend, who we talked about, had only lost 1 time all year. He lost the first set, won the second set, and absolutely cruised in the third set to close out the match. And the Wildcats end up winning 4-0. And if you haven't had a chance to hear Clancy Shields, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got the full interview with Clancy up there. He said that of all the things that happened, he was so impressed with what Philip did in set 3, because when the match ended, he was winning 4-2. So he was on the way to winning that third set. Once the 4th point gets established, they end all the rest of the matches.
You think those 2 players just go off to some random high school and finish those last couple of games?
No, I've always thought that's kind of weird about college tennis.
Unfinished.
Yeah, it's like you're like right in the middle of this match. your team wins, and now all of a sudden your match is over.
I get the format, 4 wins and the team wins. I get that, but when you have 3 unfinished matches,
just play them out.
Yeah, why not?
But I don't know. They might have had a flight to catch, and again, it gets long. It really does get. I mean, when you're talking about some of these, we thought it was going to be over. They started at 1. We thought it was going to be over at 3, and then Phillip blew that match, and now you're it went till 4. So now it's going into the 3-hour range. For the match. But the Wildcats were able to get the win over Harvard, and now they're going to move on to Charlottesville, North Carolina, to take on the number 2 team in the country and number 7 seed overall is the Virginia Cavaliers. The number 7 seed Virginia Cavaliers. They'll host Arizona on Saturday. Arizona has they've been to the Elite. They've been to the Sweet 16 now 4 times in 5 years, but they've never been to the Elite 8. So that's the step now that this group wants to take. We're going to hear from, we're a little late getting in this break. We're going to hear from Colton Smith on the other side. DK on the Sports Tip. We'll also get you your BetMGM Network top plays. And Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Travel picking up, and it is busy. Southbound Nogales Highway approaching Los Reales. Those backups due to road work. Collisions reported Bilby east of Nogales Highway, Bear Canyon and Tancaverde, and also Stone Avenue in Glen. Chance of showers, 53. The overnight low, 70 tomorrow and 65 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Every day, Dave spends $5 on
1 ultra latte with a caramel drizzle.
But for less than $1 a day, he could protect his family with a $500,000 life insurance policy from SelectQuote. And for about the same $15 a month he spends on...
Honey, what's our password to Streamflix?
He could have a life policy from SelectQuote. But when his wife asked him...
Honey, have you looked into life insurance yet?
Dave said...
Whoa, how are we going to afford life insurance?
If only Dave knew that SelectQuote could find him a policy for up to 50% less than he's found online. That's about the same amount as one of his streaming subscriptions. SelectQuote is a broker. They know which carrier has the right policy for Dave's situation. So he'll have money left over for...
a karaoke machine with auto-tune.
I'm canceling your credit card.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get your free quote now at SelectQuote.com or call 800-341-6060. That's 800-341-6060.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Don't miss out on any of the action.
7-7 bottom of the ninth. Wildcats would love to end it right here.
As the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
2-2, and it's lined to left. for a base hit. Bryfogel's going to be waved around third. Here comes the throw from Hartman. It's headed home. He slides. He's safe, and the Wildcats have won it. Mikalakis, RBI single.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Keep your ride summer road trip ready with parts, tools, and accessories from Summit Racing. We have what you need for pre-trip maintenance, plus essentials like emergency roadside kits, tire inflators, jumper cables, boost jump starters, tool sets, and a whole lot more. So hit the highways or take the roads less traveled with confidence. Shop SummitRacing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends May 25th, 2025. SummitRacing.com. Let's build it together.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa, the pros that know to keep your business moving at full speed. Steph Curry had 14 fourth-quarter points, Buddy Hield finished with 33 points, and tied a Game 7 record by sinking 9 three-pointers. And the Golden State Warriors just avoided fully blowing a 3-1 series lead to the Houston Rockets by beating them in Game 7 to advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs. Now as for the future of the Rockets, all eyes will be on them this summer to see if they can pull off a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kevin Durant. I'm Zach Gelb.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're going to talk some basketball coming up with a Hall of Fame NBA writer, Sam Smith. He's been on the Chicago Bulls beat for 38 years. We're going to talk to him about Dalen Terry and where he is after 3 seasons in the National Basketball Association. We're talking Arizona tennis. The fellas are on their way to the Sweet 16. Virginia is number 4. I think I said they were number 2. They're number 4 in the country. They're number 7 seed. They will host Arizona on Saturday, 10 a.m. Tucson time will be the start time on that match. It'll be carried on a network called Cracked Rackets. That's the last thing you want.
That's where I turn to for all my tennis needs.
Sounds like an angry player there with a cracked racket.
So the Volunteers are 4th. Cats are 10th.
You mean Cavaliers?
Cavaliers. That's what I said. The Virginia Mountaineers. Yeah, the Cavaliers are 4th. Yeah. Cats are 10th.
Right. Colton Smith has had one heck of a career at the University of Arizona. He has played both professionally and collegiately this season, which is no easy feat for sure, but he has done a tremendous job at doing that, going back from the tour.
How does that work now? Like, hypothetically, if you're a freshman golfer and you win money at the Masters, like, you get to go back to school?
Yeah, I don't know the money. I didn't ask the money part of that. I probably should have asked Clancy that, and I don't think I forgot to do that. But I know one thing for sure. So Colton Smith is scheduled to play the French Open, which starts on May the 19th, Monday, May the 19th. So 2 weeks from today will be the beginning of the French Open. It was always one of my favorite tournaments back in the day. If the Wildcats get to the national championship match, that is being played on Saturday, May the 18th. Apparently, Colton Smith has let the U of A know that he is planning to stay with the program for as long as their run lasts in the tournament. So he's going to stay with the team. Now, the singles and the doubles, the individuals play later. They play the next week. So he will not obviously play in that. If the Wildcats are not involved deep into the championship weekend, he'll then head to Paris for the French Open.
I've played hundreds of games of tennis, but never on clay, never on grass.
I've played on both. I've played on both clay and grass. I love playing on grass. It's really
soft.
Clay, clay's kind of dirty. It gets your shoes all kind of messed up.
And you slide quite a bit. A lot of sliding.
You can slide though. It is fun from that standpoint. But I like grass. I have played on grass. We actually looked. We're house hunting. We looked at a place. There's a place in a complex, condo complex over near Sabino Canyon. They've got a grass tennis court. And I was like, cool. We should move here. I could play grass tennis court. But we found out that nobody, apparently, according to the guy that showed us around, he's like, yeah, nobody plays tennis here, so they're actually going to convert that into another pickleball court.
Sounds about
Are you
right.
serious? I was like, just when I'm about to move into a place that has a tennis court, they're going to convert it to a pickleball court. Let's hear from Colton Smith on the weekend and the key element in the Wildcats getting that doubles point to start things off on Saturday that their coach did not think that they would be able to get.
Colton, another Sweet 16, another chance to really cement where this program stands nationally. Just what are your thoughts on this weekend and the way the guys performed it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the third appearance that we've had in the Sweet 16, so we've been here before, and I mean, I'm looking forward to going a little farther this year, and I think this group of guys can definitely do that. I thought we had a shot last year as well, and so it's kind of I don't want to leave this with any regrets. I know we could take it a little bit farther, and it's something I'm looking forward to, going to Virginia and really showing what we got again.
How have you handled this year? I mean, playing here, playing professionally, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, definitely, but it's been so fast you don't really have time to think about it too much. You're on the court, you're here, you're there, and so it's fun. I mean, that's helped me mature a lot. I think it's helped me become a little bit better leader as well, kind of being able to try to lead from afar and being able to trust a lot of the guys here too as well. I think that's been huge. And just, yeah, it's fun to watch these guys grow, and it's cool because when you're on the road, you're not with them every day, and so you come back after a week or two from being gone, and you can see the growth that they've put in, they've had, and so that's something that's super motivating for me to keep going out here and doing it as well.
Obviously, that was one didn't go the way you and Nyaki wanted, but you guys still got the point. How big was that to start off this match?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it's something where kind of earlier in the year we were struggling a little bit with all three of the doubles, just trying to figure out kind of who we could rely on, and so it was something where, I mean, we've been putting it together at three doubles, and so it takes a lot of the pressure off of everybody else. They can go out and play and not really have to worry about trying to put a point on the board, and so it's what we did, and we were able to rely on some of the other guys today, and I think that's the good part about having a strong doubles lineup.
How does today's match for you compare to some of the bigger matches you played this year professionally? Does it feel similar in terms of the stakes or that sort of thing, or is it even maybe different with the fans being here?
Yeah, no, it was more emotional for sure. It's you know the stakes of it for sure, and you know it's probably your last match here in front of everybody, and so it was cool. It felt like I was playing for Arizona today, and it was how I wanted to go out, and I couldn't have asked for much more.
I know there's still tennis to play, and you don't maybe want to reflect on your legacy, but what do you think that is out here, and what you've been able to do to help raise this program to being one of the better programs in the country?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's records and there's results, and so that's something where your name's always going to kind of be on the wall there. But it's just kind of, I think, for me, being able to have a relationship with Tucson and the U of A, this feels like home to me. And so I'm just so grateful for the opportunity and everything that Clancy saw in me to get me here. And it's been a crazy journey, but it's been one that I wouldn't do it anywhere else.
How'd you break down your 6'3" performance?
I mean, yeah, I felt very solid. It felt like he's a good player for sure. And so it was something where I was going to have to put everything together today. I was going to have to serve well. I was going to have to return well. And yeah, he's had a lot of results. He's a fearless player for the most part. And so really just being able to go out there, put my head down, and take care of what I could take care of. And yeah, it's how I wanted to go out.
What about Jay makes him such a fierce competitor when he's out there, because he's a very emotional guy and he just gets people riled up. So what about him makes him so special to play with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the coolest thing is just kind of seeing him progress over the years and how far he's come. And now I'm not worried if he's a set and a breakdown. I know he's gonna put it together, and once he starts putting it together in the match, he's tough to beat. He's not gonna lose many matches at all. And so I think that's just the cool part of, you can rely on him to get the point no matter what. And yeah, it's fun because he's energetic, and yeah, like you said. And so I'm grateful I've gotten to play with him this long, and being able to play next to him is pretty fun.
Colton Smith talking about Jay Friend. Colton Smith this year is 22-2 in singles overall. 13-0 is the number one player for the Arizona Wildcats. Jay Friend, 32-4 overall. 21-1 in dual meets this season. JW, you've got...
Yeah, well, I was curious about the rules about amateurism and prize money for tournaments like golf and tennis. And it says here the rules are the same. $10,000 in prize money per calendar year prior to enrolling in college is allowed. However, the NIL changes in the landscape of college athletics has not changed the fact that you cannot accept prize money during a professional tournament so long as you're enrolled in school. Although, much like everything else in the NCAA landscape, DK, there are lawsuits that have been put forward by players who feel that they should be able to take home prize money from tournaments that they participate in.
There you go. It's very cloudy. It's cloudy on all this stuff for sure. We're going to talk some basketball. 5 o'clock hour. Sam Smith, legendary Bulls rider, is going to join us. Let's find out what's going on with Dalen Terry, Arizona basketball product, and his career. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported Ruthroff and La Cholla and Ruthroff, and also Stone Avenue and Glen. Some backups on southbound Nogales Highway approaching Los Reales, and those backups due to road work. Weather-wise, chance of showers, 53 the overnight low, and 70 tomorrow, 64 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CUT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CUT to 42424. That's CUT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Don't miss out on any of the action as the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
But again, Caleb Love now taking over the game.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Yeah,
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Whoa! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
It's Arizona Baseball GCU Tuesday down in the Valley.
Hit high in the air to left field. Back to the track, back to the wall. It's out of here!
Cats look to win the season series against the Lopes. Coverage begins at 6:50 right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Wildcat fans, Taco Bell is a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and is ready to serve you. We're open for breakfast. Fire up your mornings with breakfast at Taco Bell. You've heard about Happy Hour? Well, try Happier Hour at your local Taco Bell for $1 beverages. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., choose any regular freezes or medium drink for $1. It's the happiest time of the day. Taco Bell is locally owned and operated and is looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Mas.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We talk Diamondbacks baseball daily.
Overall, inside of our culture, it's built on love, trust, commitment, and effort. And I think love is the glue to all of it.
Love, trust, commitment, and effort. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, a couple of your former Arizona Wildcats are sitting in a pretty good position today. TJ McConnell and Ben Matherin after the Pacers upset the Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals on Sunday. One Wildcat, though, who had a short stint in the postseason this year. The play-in round, one game in particular, was Dalen Terry, who just concluded his third season with the Chicago Bulls. Pleased to be joined by legendary longtime Bulls beat writer Sam Smith, 38 years on the beat in Chicago. He has seen it all, the good and the bad. And Sam, appreciate you taking some time to join us today. Obviously, covering the Bulls right now is a whole lot different than it was during the Jordan era.
Yeah, you could have added the old Clint Eastwood for the play-in game. Say the ugly, good, the bad, and the ugly. That was pretty. It was pretty awful conclusion to this season. It's probably not something they're very proud of, but it's the third straight year they're in the play-in, which is a place you don't want to be. So basically, Dalen Terry's entire NBA career has just been with an elimination in the play-in. So. He's a lot less fortunate than some of the other alumni you mentioned with the Pacers.
So let's take a talk a little bit about Dalen. 3 years in now, number one pick. How would you assess these 3 years for him?
Probably overall not very good. It was shocking. I don't watch much college ball since I watch NBA and I'm through the NBA. And so I looked at his stats when they drafted him, and it was confident shooting. I think his three-point, as I recall, was a 33, 35. Wasn't good, great, but it was confident. And he showed up with an incredibly poor shooting motion and shot. and his 3-point shooting, and it's really held him back because the NBA, it wasn't this, it hasn't always been this way. But you need to shoot now when you come in the NBA. I think, we saw it with Houston getting eliminated last night. If you can't shoot, you can't really compete in the NBA anymore. They've made it such a perimeter outside-in game compared to inside-out used to be. And Dalen's shooting was so poor when he came. It was really, you close your eyes, look away kind of thing. It was like, oh, my God, I can't believe this poor kid. And to his credit, I give him credit for this. The first couple of years, it was really bad, and you almost couldn't put him on the court. But he really worked at it, and he's improved. He's not good, but he's competent now. He get in the corner three is an important shot, and he really's worked on that, and he can make that now with with some confidence. So he's got. I would have said after his first 2 years that he's not going to be an NBA player. That will be out of the NBA because his shooting was so poor, and he was playing the shooting guard kind of position or wing. Really the most position in the league where you've got to shoot, and so and now he's raised that to where it's competent that he could find a place off the bench, kind of as a utility player. Because I'm sure you know him, from as a player, hustle kind of guy, running all over the place, kind of Russell Westbrook sort of energy sort of guy. Russell couldn't shoot very well either, but he was sort of a force of nature kind of guy. And I think, Dalen, you could envision him in that image a little bit, if not quite that talent level. So he's in the situation now. I think that the Bulls have a fourth-year rookie option on him, but they have an awful lot of guards. And so I think it'll be a decision on whether they'll pick that up. I kind of think they will, just because it's not an expensive contract. And but I think he's still in a position where he needs to find, a designated role. And I think inevitably in the NBA to be kind of as a hustle energy player off the bench, kind of limited minutes, because he was in and out of the rotation most of the season with the Bulls.
Only averaged 14 minutes this season, but you mentioned the shooting. First 2 years shot under 26% from three, was able to raise that to 36% this year. You mentioned the form, and we're chatting with the Bulls beat writer Sam Smith, who's covered the team for 38 years. You mentioned the form. Did they work with him to try to change his shooting form? What were some of the things they tried to do to improve that?
Yeah, they really, and actually they separated with him just recently, but they really had a shooting guru, a guy named Peter Patton, who did, obviously it's a, with the emphasis on shooting in the NBA now, it's a job that a lot of teams have these shooting coaches, and the Bulls had one of the better ones, Patton, and he worked a lot with. He's one of, and I'm not. It's not an area of expertise with me. I don't know what they do in the part of teaching, but just sort of the fundamentals of, getting your elbow in the right position, getting your, with fingers on the ball at the right time, being, in the shot pocket. And Dalen had none of that. I'm not going to necessarily blame the university down there, but he came in so fundamentally poor. It's almost as if nobody taught him anything about basketball ever. And so they had a lot of, especially shooting to work with. And like I said, he if you see him now, if you watched him toward the end of this season, last half of this season, his shot looked, it looked like an NBA form. He was ready to catch the ball in shooting position, especially from the corner. It wasn't as good on top or out on the wing, but on that corner three, he could make that. I don't know the exact stats. You could look them up, but I'm sure on that corner three, he had a pretty good, might even be up to 40% or somewhere higher than that. So, you know, it is their job. I know you'll hear a lot of guys work. Well, you work, I work. You know, we all work hard. Nobody ever says, "Oh, he really works hard behind the mic there." You know, but that's these guys' jobs to get better, to work. You know, I mean, it's going to play basketball. I'm never very impressed when everybody says, "Oh, he really is a hard worker." Well, you go in the gym. You know, we always did that for free. but anyway, he improved himself a lot, and it's obviously working with this coach they had who was very good, and unfortunately parted ways with the Bulls. At least unfortunately for the Bulls. You know, and Dalen, you know, a lot of these guys hook up with individual shooting coaches, and maybe he did with this guy, you know, for the summer anyway, because you know, next year or two is big for Dalen about whether, you know, the Bulls will pick up his option. If they don't, he'll be a free agent, and you know, a lot of teams investing in players, 40, 50, 60 million. Guys like Dalen could be really valuable. You know, low contract guys coming off the bench. You know, you see teams like that who have decimated their depth. You know, Lakers, Denver in the playoffs, and a guy like him could fill in a place like that with his, you know, hustle energy. You know, he always had that. He just needed to develop some, you know, fundamentals, offensive fundamentals, which he seems to be on the way to doing now.
Sam Smith joining us, Bulls beat writer, has covered the team for 38 years. How's his defense, Sam? I know obviously that was one of the things we always, you know, he kind of prided himself on here was being a good defender. Has that translated to the NBA level?
It's okay. You know, it's confidence. He's one of you always hear one of the cliches you hear. What they always ask young players. And invariably the guy answers, "Oh yes, the game's slowed down." You know, that's that old cliche. "Oh, the game's too fast." The game's never slowed. He plays a little bit out of control. Plays a little bit too fast all the time. You know, you can tell he's wanting to succeed. He really wants to do well. I mean, seems like a very nice kid. It seems like a very committed worker. He cares. He really tries hard, and I think he kind of wants it too much because he really is, you know, he's going 100 miles an hour all the time. And so as a result, when you do that, you tend to make mistakes. You know, he can be turnover prone at times. He'll, you know, forget where he's on the quick step out of bounds. You'll see a lot of those. Well, where you see these players get a ball that's standing out of bounds because he's just going so fast and all. So I would say his defense is, you know, is competent. It's not like a great defender. We sort of, when he came in, you know, the reputation was, you know, I think he was a defensive player of the year or all defense in their conference or something. And it hasn't translated to that level. He's been good. He hasn't been exceptional. But you could put him on guys, and he's bothersome just because he's so active. And you know, it's sort of like, you know, the fly who won't go away. He just kind of keep pestering you. You know, which is an effective tactic in itself.
Sam, most people are snowbirds. They come here in the wintertime and then get out before the summer. But apparently you like to come out to Arizona right when it starts to get hot.
Yeah, I've gotten things, you know, pretty well done in my life. But one thing I've got a little backwards is I have a home in the Phoenix area, but I work for the Bulls, so I spend a lot of the winter in Chicago and a lot of the summer in Phoenix. I know that's not exactly right. I know that's not the way people sort of portray the area, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to get that straightened out. But it's hard to explain to people back home. I like the heat. And I'll say, "Oh yeah, I was out playing golf. It's 106. No good." So I've given up trying to explain to people. But everyone who lives down here knows, you know what? It's hot. So what? But in Chicago, when I go out in January, it's usually a 50-50 chance whether I can come back alive because of the cold.
Sam Smith writes the Bulls beat for 38 years. Sam, you have any ideas how to fix the Suns?
Man, that's a worse mess than the Bulls. I thought the Bulls were really bad. Yeah, you know, they really locked themselves. I mean, the worst contract in the league, and there's some bad ones. Embiid's contract is horrible, and you know, $68 million, and he's hurt every year. But that no trade, taking that no trade on Bradley Beal is just. And I understand. I don't blame Bradley Beal. I understand everyone's mad at him, but they say, well, drop the no trade so we could trade you to what, Charlotte or Minnesota. I'm living in Phoenix. I'm not leaving Phoenix. Are you kidding? You know, so. Yeah, so they made a terrible deal. They obviously, I mean, it's no secret around the NBA. You know, they're going to trade. And part of it is, and you understand, you know, it's the old line about, you know, you hear it from team executives. If you listen to the people in the stands, you end up sitting with them. Well, that's what happened. You know, a fan bought a team and decided to run it. So, you know, so he makes some of those decisions. You know, I'm pretty sure the professional management with the Suns weren't making any of those decisions. And so I get, you know, the fantasy league basketball kind of thing that they did, getting Durant, you know, getting Beal. And if you were paying attention, you'd have seen Beal had been hurt a lot already, wasn't playing a lot in Washington. Okay, that was a bad that was a bad decision, crippling. And now you've just got to offload Durant, try to recoup a draft pick or two, get maybe one young player, and you're stuck. I mean, you're in a couple of years. It's going to take a couple of years to dig out of it. You know, I mean, it's easy to forget. I mean, a couple of years ago, they won 64 games or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had young players, Mikal Bridges, and you know, they had a good young core. And they blew it up. Now, it's going to take several years to get back to that. They were there. They just abandoned it. I know fans love, you know, these billionaires that come in and I'm going to spend $1 billion to build my team. Well, that's fine in baseball. It doesn't work in a league with a cap. And so, you know, you got to make smart basketball financial decisions, and they obviously didn't.
We're chatting with Sam Smith. He is the longtime beat writer for the Chicago Bulls. Sam, we're going to keep you over for another segment. It is DK on the Sports Tip, 520-848-1290. Got to talk some more basketball with this gentleman here. He wrote the book, The Jordan Rules, back when the Bulls were winning a lot of NBA titles. We'll get into that coming up with Sam Smith, beat writer for the Chicago Bulls. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Collisions reported 6th and 44th Street and 6th Avenue. Colossal Cave Road at I-10 and also Ruth Ruff and La Cholla. Backups on southbound Nogales Highway approaching Los Reales. There's a chance of showers, 53 the overnight low and 70 tomorrow, 63 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CUT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CUT to 42424. That's CUT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Wildcat fans, Taco Bell is a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and is ready to serve you. We're open for breakfast. Fire up your mornings with breakfast at Taco Bell. You've heard about happy hour? Well, try Happier Hour at your local Taco Bell for $1 beverages. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., choose any regular freezes or medium drink for $1. It's the happiest time of the day. Taco Bell is locally owned and operated and is looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Moss.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Download our app. It slaps. Nobody covers Southern Arizona sports like we do. Don't miss out on any of the highlights, stories, and analysis. The flagship home for Arizona Wildcats athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Hi, this is Maggie Gray. Join us as we cover the headlines, highlights, and storylines of women's athletics. Every day, Monday through Friday, myself or another trailblazing woman in the sports broadcasting business brings you the top stories of the day from the biggest stars in the world.
Caitlin Clark shoots till your arm falls off. My goodness!
I feel like I was just that young girl that dreamed of being in this moment. Maya Moore was my favorite player growing up. I was that young girl that dreamed of being on this stage and, being able to be a role model. I'm always going to take 5 seconds and take a picture with somebody, take an autograph with somebody. If I can continue to move the game forward, not only basketball, but women's sports in general.
And everywhere else where ceilings are being shattered.
I think it's funny when you add a little bit of money to a sport and you give some girls attention, what they can do with it. I think everyone should take a page out of our book and really put some more time and effort into women's everything.
If it's happening in women's sports, Westwood One has you covered.
Count on Kohl's for those special gifts Mom deserves this Mother's Day. Inspire her inner chef with must-haves for her kitchen, wellness essentials for her fitness routine, and jewelry for her perfect night out. Plus, you can save 15% on some of your finds and earn Kohl's Cash. Find Mom's perfect gift in time for Mother's Day at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer valid through May 11th. Kohl's Cash and coupons do not apply to Sephora. Exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for more details.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sam Smith wrote the book, The Jordan Rules. You may remember it, one of the great books that came out of the legendary Chicago Bulls championship era. 6 titles with Michael Jordan. Sam, what was the best thing about covering those teams?
Well, I was at the right place at the right time, and I thought, hey, I'll just write a diary of a team behind the season, and what do you know, it became a bestseller. So, yeah, it's good to be smart, but it's better to be lucky. And I was at the right place at the right time when I decided to write about the Bulls. But, it was one of those kind of, everyone talks about, once-in-a-lifetime experience as far as being in the right place. And, there was nothing, there'll never be anything like that in sports again, not because I was there to see it, but you had this combination coming together all one time, sort of this incredible series of forces united. You got the best player, arguably, debatably, whatever, Michael Jordan, and you've got maybe with the best coach, Phil Jackson, and, his, quirky ways. And, just as an aside, Phil and I collaborated on a book on NBA history that's coming out this fall. Called Masters of the Game, and which is kind of a conversation between he and I about basketball, which kind of be a fun thing. I think fans will like it. And then you've got Rodman, Dennis Rodman, the most unique, outrageous figure in the history of sports, probably. And so you've got the confluence of these 3 incredible forces of nature, publicity, culture, all coming together and producing this exceptional product at the same time. And it wasn't just sort of like some the Portland Jail Blazers or the old Nets with crazy Derek Coleman and Chris Morris and guys who were acting out. You had these incredible figures who were also succeeding at the highest level ever. When win 72 games at a time, record. And that was, we got get caught in this silly debate, who's the greatest. And, of course, in my growing up and everything, we didn't have this GOAT thing. Nobody ever said, well, is Wilt better than Oscar or Russ? There was never any of that kind of stuff. But if you were getting to it, and you're trying to like this year with the MVP, I assume Gilgeous-Alexander will win. And to me, when I voted, it was always the tiebreaker is team success. And so, I give him that. And so, that, with Jordan, say, okay, well, how do LeBron's got all these records? Well, every single time Jordan got there, they won. Mm-hmm. And so, other than Bill Russell, there's been nobody like that. And Bill Russell was playing with like 7 Hall of Famers, and the best executive and coach of all time, and Red Auerbach. So, it was just the fact that, Michael was able to achieve that, basically playing, with 1 Hall of Famer, Scottie Pippen, who was great, maybe the greatest perimeter defender ever. But by the time Rodman came to the Bulls, he was a freak show more than a basketball player. And you saw a lot of that in the Last Dance kind of thing where, he took off for Vegas and he did that crazy literally in the game, he and Karl Malone did a wrestling promotion during, I think it was Finals Game 4 when they were wrestling on the floor. It's incredible stuff that went on. All been able to kept in control by Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan because of their brilliance and everything. So, just to been able to be witness that, and people ask me about that kind of stuff going through that. Not that I'm comparing it with, say, Washington's inaugural address or Lincoln's Gettysburg But when when you're at something famous, you really don't, it's just like, it's part of your daily, I'm going to see that, but I'm also going to have lunch and, try to catch a flight. It's still your daily operation, your daily life. And so the people who listen to the Gettysburg Address, they didn't walk in. Nobody said, oh my God, 200 years from now, everybody will be talking about this. So it was just like, oh yeah, it was another game, but we got another game tomorrow. So you don't really realize until you step back and everybody goes, oh, what was it like? And oh yeah, I guess it was, but at the time you're just trying to get through it, especially I think, between covering the Bulls and covering the NBA for the Chicago Tribune for all those years, I think I went through the I think it was like 30 finals, 30 playoff runs in a row. So I went all 4 rounds, so we from the mid 80s on, when the Bulls weren't in the, when the Bulls got knocked out, then I'd go to do the Lakers Celtics and, that kind of thing. So, it's just sort of getting through 2 months of playoffs every year. You're kind of thinking about like, well, what city I am? What, every time you wake up in a different hotel, it's like, where are we again? So you get caught up in that. But it was, looking back, it was just, it was special to be able to be, a witness to that history, which is all you are, basically. And I love the opportunity. What I like is just, like telling a story, telling people, hey, by the way, did you see this? This happened. And so, being able to be intimate, not that it was the most important history in the world, but it was kind of a fun history to be involved with.
Sam Smith, 38 years with the Bulls. Sam, I got 2 more for you. One, what do you remember most about Steve Kerr, legendary Arizona Wildcat?
I got a lot of stories about Steve Kerr. I got to know Steve very well, but I'll tell you one quickly that never come out, that doesn't come out much. It was when he had this fight with Jordan. And it was kind of, it became a famous thing about, Steve's toughness, and Michael accepted them all and that kind of stuff. And I remember when I learned about it, and I called Steve and I was going to write about it. He was really nervous. I was covering the team then, and he was just barely hanging on. He had gone to Orlando out of the college, I think, and then Cleveland. And Cleveland was running this offense that he couldn't play in. It wasn't. It was kind of an isolation where you had to beat guys off the dribble, and he couldn't do that. I mean, he was basically on the verge of being out of the NBA. And then John Paxson, he seems smart in the way, in a lot of ways. You've seen John Paxson was having knee problems, and Steve looked around the NBA. It was rather than most players wait for teams to look for them. Steve was looking for a team where he fit, and he saw the triangle. He saw the way the Bulls played. And he saw that John Paxson was sort of at the end, and so he kind of contacted the Bulls and basically was there on a make good. And then he gets into this, incident with Jordan. And the year before, Jordan got into an incident like that, similar, not exactly a fight, but somebody kind of took him down on a drive, and they cut the guy the next day. It's like, this is our most valuable property. We're not messing with this guy. That was a couple of years before, anyway. So anyway, Steve gets in this fight, and I hear about it, and I call him, to follow up to write a news story, and he tells me, please do me a favor. I can't have publicity on this. I'm hanging on by a thread with this team, and I'm just trying to make the team, and if it looks like Michael Jordan's mad at me, I'm done. So anyway, it was one of a few compromises I made to try to, and he doesn't credit me with saving his career, but I feel like I did.
That is a great story right there, Sam.
But he was Steve knew how to do it. You could see it he's a terrific coach. He's really smart. And actually, even last night, you saw the way they physically manhandled Shogun there. the Houston center just beat him up and physically took him out of the game. And obviously, terrific coach. And Golden State's, got Curry and everything he does. But Steve's, been terrific. But there was very few players, really, almost in the history of the game. There's been great players dealing with the media. Magic was fabulous, and different guys. Doc Rivers has always, been good. You could see what the coaches deals with. Michael was great until I started writing books about it. But yeah, I remember in the finals all those years, and by the time the second three-peat came around, and especially 97, 98, the Bulls were just this incredible phenomenon, and the players were just running for cover. And Steve was like, he'd come to the locker room before the game, and Steve would be the only one there. And there'd be 40, reporters from all over the country, straining to hear something, to get something for the early editions or on TV, whatever the case might be. And it wasn't Steve promoting himself as much as he understood better than most, better than all almost, that, all these people in the media had a job, had a responsibility to do something. And, he was willing to, help other people with their job when he didn't have to. He could have been back in the locker room, back in the corners privately, with his teammates. But he understood, these people are all hanging around trying to do something, need some help, let me help them. They're really just a very decent human being, very, great understanding of the game, the media, people's needs, very unselfish guy. Can't really, one of the best people I've dealt with in sports.
Wow. That's great to hear. Great to hear. Who wins the title?
I like Oklahoma City. I just think that youth and defensive abilities, and they could use a second guy. Gil Alexander is going to be attacked. They'll trap him like they do Curry. And, if they had a second guy who could make a play off the dribble, but they have so much depth, defensive players, Dort and Caruso, these guys coming off the bench. They could just throw waves of people at you. So I kind of like their possibilities.
There you go. His name is Sam Smith. He's written the beat for the Chicago Bulls for 38 years. He has seen it all. He is a Hall of Famer for sure, winner of the Kurt Gowdy Media Award back in 2011. Sam, appreciate you taking some time to join us. Enjoy the hot summer up in Scottsdale.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to get back to 100 so I can start playing golf. It's freezing now.
Right. It's true. It is a little chilly.
No, it's only 70. I can't stand it.
It is a little chilly. Appreciate it again, Sam.
All right. Good to talk to you.
You too. You too. Sam Smith, who has done the whole snowbird thing in reverse. He lives in the wintertime in cold Chicago. And I'm telling you, I've told the story before about how sometimes the one time I went to Chicago in late December and there was like snow stacked up, like the cars, they just literally plow the streets with the cars on the curbs and the snow is stacked up over the cars.
There's a very simple solution, Cubs.
Cubs.
Yeah. You just switch over to baseball and you have your winters off.
There you go. That's true. And so he comes to Arizona for the summers, not the winters. Good stuff, though. Great opportunity to talk to one of the best NBA writers ever to cover a team, and especially all those title teams, those 6 Chicago Bull title teams.
I don't think he told us anything we didn't know about Dalen Terry, DK.
No.
I mean, that was the reputation after he left college.
Yeah.
Some of the question marks was in his reliable outside shot. And, hey, he's still a very young player. So all he really needs to do is round that form out, be consistent with that release. And if he can knock down open shots, he brings so many other intangibles. If it's not with the Bulls, he will certainly find a landing spot in the NBA for a long time.
520-848-1290. If you heard anything you want to comment on there, we got one segment of the show left to go. We'll get into that. We'll get you your Bet MGM top play of the day. It's a future play. A future play involving your Arizona Cardinals. So stay tuned for that. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported 6th Avenue and 44th Street and also Colossal Cave Road at I-10. Some slowdowns and backups due to road work southbound Nogales Highway approaching Los Reales. A chance of showers, 53, the overnight low, 70 tomorrow and 63 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
Hey, it's Shannon. Did you have weeds, bees, pests, or termites? I did. I had my yard and house treated by Weedco, and I don't have that problem anymore. Weedco has a new shield plan to protect your property and family all year long. Go to weedco.services today.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't postpone better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed from a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched. Sleep at night.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about?
Dragon Ball, if you were going to be given an NIL for NAU, what sport would that have been?
Probably would have had to try it out for at least the Quidditch team.
Quidditch?
No, I bet.
Wow.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
even know what that is. What is Quidditch?
Quidditch is
It's a wizard sport.
It's a
Is
wizard
that a card game?
It's kind of like lacrosse on a broomstick with magic.
DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3 right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaska vacations?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99. In-store only, limit supplies. See store for details. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute sponsored by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. The Jets were almost a victim of the President's Trophy curse. Yesterday in Game 7, they were down 3-1 with under 2 minutes to go, and someone with 1.6 seconds left in regulation tied it up before completing the stunning comeback in double overtime. It was crisis averted for the Winnipeg Jets this time, and now let's see if the Jets can get 12 more wins to be the first President's Trophy winner to snag the Stanley Cup since the Blackhawks last did it in 2013. I'm Zach Gelb.
What's up, baseball fans? It's time to swing big on your bets this season. Step up to the plate with an Odds Boost token from BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM account to receive your Odds Boost token. Then, place a bet on any MLB game and activate your token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No matter the showdown, BetMGM is your betting home for baseball. Don't miss your chance at a bigger payout on your bet. Claim your MLB Odds Boost token today and activate the token before placing your bet. At BetMGM, the action is always on deck, so step up to the plate and get in on the excitement all season long. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. MLB Odds Boost token can be used on any MLB odds of -300 or longer. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. Arizona only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Journalism is on the move as they turn for home, and Sovereignty is coming with him on the outside. The two of them go right by with a furlong to run. Journalism and Sovereignty, nose to nose, down to the last 16th of a mile. Sovereignty has taken the lead. Journalism is second toward the inside. Baez is third, but it will be Sovereignty to rule the Kentucky Derby. Journalism and Baez over next. Final Gambit was fourth. The final time was 2:02.31 seconds.
Sovereignty wins the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. So what we did was we got our Bet MGM, and it's time now for your Bet MGM Network top plays of the day. Time to bet. So we took an exotic. Exotic means you kind of play more than one horse. So what we ended up doing was we boxed a trifecta. That's 3 horses. So they can finish in any order, but they have to finish in the top 3. Doesn't matter what the order is, but you take those 3 horses and they finish in the top 3. Well, we took Journalism as one of our horses, and Journalism actually did finish in the top 3, finished second. The other 2 horses we took were kind of longer odd horses, but were known as finishers. Tistastic at 20-1 and Publisher at 30-1. Well, we didn't get those 2 horses. Tistastic finished 10th and Publisher finished 14th. Bob Baffert's Citizen Bull actually had the lead for a large portion of the race, but faded in the end and finished 15th.
He's a mutta.
Yeah, he's a mutta. Here is your play, not for today, but how about this future play with your Cardinals?
From the Auto Nation.
I'm Ryan Horvath, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. The Arizona Cardinals killed it in the draft last week, and I'm very optimistic about them in 2025. Jonathan Gannon is a defensive mastermind, and I expect Kyler Murray to find Marvin Harrison Jr. often in the end zone. The Cardinals to make the playoffs is plus 150. I'm Ryan Horvath. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so the Cardinals to make the playoffs. That would be something. It has been a few years with the Cardinals. Last time they were in it, it went horribly, horribly wrong in that blowout loss to the Los Angeles Rams. So we'll keep an eye on that one. The Cardinals to make the postseason. Now, we've taken some L's of late. We had the Mariners Friday night. We had the Mariners-Rangers game under 8.5. Remember that was supposed to be such a great pitching matchup? Well, Seattle won that game 13-1. Cal Riley had a couple of home runs.
Half a good pitching matchup.
Yeah, half a good. Yeah, Mr. Wu was really good, but Jack Leiter Not so good for the Rangers. Jack Leiter, in fact, let's see, what did he give up? He gave up 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Wu pitched 6 1/3 shutout innings with 8 Ks.
So what you're saying is Wu did not let anybody get to first.
That's exactly. Wu, no Wu on first, for sure. So we took an L there. We took an L in the Derby this weekend. Do we win anything? I don't know that we won anything in particular. I think those were our 2 main bets that we had over the weekend. Tonight, tonight we have the Tigers and the Astros under 8. Tigers and Astros under 8 is the play there on the baseball side. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also, we've got an NBA one we'll give you tomorrow. We'll give you that one as well. Also, we had another, speaking of the NBA, we had the Pistons plus 1.5 in the series over the Knicks. So essentially what needed to happen there was we needed that series to go to game 7 to win, because then the Pistons would have, with the plus 1.5 games, would have won that 4.5 to 4. But it ended obviously in 6 thanks to Jalen Brunson and his heroics. So that we lost on that one as well. There you have it. Your BetMGM Network top plays for today.
Did you know that Steve Kerr is 24-3 in playoff series in his career as a coach?
Yeah, I would imagine it's
24-3.
Yeah.
2 losses to LeBron and 1 to Kawhi. That's it.
Somebody asked Steph Curry, you won another series in Houston. What do you think your legacy is in Houston? And his response was, I'm a winner.
They have had a long history of losing. I think that's 5 times that the Warriors have sent the Rockets home in the last 10 years. Yeah.
Crazy stuff. All right, speaking of betting, time now for your Desert Diamond Casino replay. It is brought to you by the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, which is Arizona's best bet, and that is the place we encourage you to, play all of these top plays that we give you. We have not been winning much in this current season. I'll have to give you the totals. We'd actually gotten back down from over $200 in losses to $169 in losses, but we're creeping back up close to 200 again. So we'll give you the full numbers on that.
It's nothing what a margarita won't fix.
Yes. Cinco de Mayo. Where are you headed tonight? Last chance to tell us where you're going to be tonight for Cinco de Mayo. We had a chance early to talk to Kelvin Ifan, the captain from 1998, talking about the return of Keyan Burnett. He left U of A in January to transfer to Kansas. He went back into the transfer portal after Kansas ended spring ball, and he is going to be returning to the U of A. I asked Kelvin what he thought about all of that.
I think you already know how I feel. I'm kind of smiling and laughing because, man, it's the day and age where guys come and play for 1 year. They transfer from all over to come play for you. Back in the day we had JUCOs, we had transfers, so it's not nothing new, as I always say. But I just feel like that, in this instance, when you're talking about Burnett, I just feel like that, there's a connection. I mean, you got to think about it. Him and Noah, they go way back. Mm-hmm. You put your name in the portal. It's almost like, to me, I thought about it, Carter Bryant putting his name into the NBA, draft. A little different because of the success of the different players, but at the same time, you kind of put your name out there and kind of see, what's in the air for you. And maybe you think you want to grow up and, go on your own because his dad went here and he kind of want to get up from under his dad's wing. So he go out to Kansas, and guess what? He figured out that I don't want to be out here with Dorothy. I want to go back to Tucson. So I just feel a little bit different about it. Not even with him. I don't really care who the guys are. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. And we always said that years ago, and I just still feel that way today.
Kelvin Ifan just dropped a Wizard of Oz on the program. I don't want to be out there with Dorothy. Wow. I like that, Kelvin. Kudos to you on coming up with that one. Kelvin Ifan, the captain, joining us, class of 1998. Okay, so then let's walk through the return of this, Kelvin, and how this plays within the team. And I want you to put your coach hat on here. Because, I put my coach hat on, and I said, okay, again, we'll take, like you mentioned, Keyan, his family. He knows Noah. His dad's a legacy. We really enjoyed having him here. So we want to have him back. We're going to have him back. But do you just, I mean, is there any type of, and I don't want to say, maybe the wrong word is, I don't want to say punishment, but do you bring a kid back and immediately put him back at the top of the depth chart, or do you have to make him work for it? You say, hey, do you say, hey, we had Tyler Powell, we had Sam Olsen that stayed here and they went through the spring and they earned their way up this depth chart, and you don't just come back in here and be the number one guy on the depth chart. What does Coach Kelvin Ifan say to that?
Oh, yeah. As a coach and a former captain, no way you come right in and get your starting position back. You're going to have to work for that over the summer. Like you said, his guys worked all through the spring and put themselves in position. But here you go again. Now I'm going to put my coach hat on again. Well, I may be bringing him back because I don't like what I got. I may be bringing him back because I remember what he had, and I'm looking at what we got, and I'm thinking, you know what? He may be a good addition to the room. You got a new offensive coordinator. You know he wants as many weapons that he can get. Mm-hmm. Come on now. So I'm not going to turn down a 6'5" guy that could spread out wide and catch passes from a quarterback that he played receiver in high school with, or a guy that can line up and play tight end for us as well. Because I think in this offense, in this spread, run and shoot, or whatever we want to call it, I think that he has an opportunity to possibly line up wide or line up in the slot and take advantage of some of his size, because I watched a lot of Texas Tech football, growing up, and watching that system, they always had 6'5", 6'6" guys on the perimeter that was huge in their offense.
The captain, Kelvin Ifan, on the return of Keyan Burnett to the Arizona Wildcats. This is your Desert Diamond Casino replay, brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. He mentioned Carter Bryant there at the top of that response, J-Dub, and new news on where Carter Bryant ranks in the eyes of the NBA.
Yeah,
today.
Buzz among the GMs is that they're really high on Carter Bryant. He was somewhere between the 18 to 20 mark in a lot of mock drafts, up to the top 10.
So he's a lottery pick now.
Yeah, in every single mock draft you look at, he's either 9 or 10 right now. I did notice, now that we have 1 minute left in the show, DK, we haven't talked much about the NBA or the Cavs or any of the other teams.
We don't want to talk about
that played, so we'll have to get into that a little bit more tomorrow. But yeah, Carter Bryant is a knockdown outside shooter at 6'9" who is very engaged on defense, DK. That's what GMs are looking for these days. There's a lot of stars out there. You just got to be able to knock down that open shot and make sure that you can try to stay in front of the likes of Devin Booker and so forth. So, yeah, GM's really high on Carter Bryant.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us today. I'd like to thank Kelvin Ifan for joining us, the captain. Thanks to Sam Smith, longtime Chicago Bulls beat writer, 38 years on the Bulls beat, for breaking it down on Dalen Terry. For JW Madden, for cricket, for Dragon Ball, off tonight. My name is David Kelly. That's our time for this evening. Thank you very much for your time. We'll chat with you tomorrow, 3 o'clock Tuesday. DK on the Sports Tip. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported 6th Avenue and 44th Street and 6th Avenue, and in Sahuarita, Rancho, Sahuarita Boulevard, and Sahuarita Road. And weather-wise, there's a slight chance of showers. 53 the overnight low, 70 tomorrow, and 63 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Get big summer flavor in every bite with the new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu, featuring new mixing bowl mashup, fan-voted s'mores, and more. For a limited time, right now at DQ. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Stay connected while you're on the go with the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. Listen to Arizona Wildcats play-by-play. Get the latest news on your teams and more, all in one place. Download Wildcats Radio 1290 app from the App Store or Google Play today. Wildcats Radio 1290 app is sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions.
For quality, honesty, and service you can count on, call Goodfellas Home Solutions. Because when you need help around the house, we can fix it. Need a kitchen or bathroom makeover? Dealing with a clogged drain, leaky faucet, or sewer issue? We'll take care of it fast. We handle just about anything under your roof. Goodfellas Home Solutions. GoodfellasAC.com.
Nobody covers your Cats like we do.
Touchdown, Arizona!
With press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play,
We bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sponsored by Progressive. Progressive is here for all of life's needs with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at Progressive.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CUT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CUT to 42424. That's CUT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
I don't have to tell you it's hot. Hi, this is Ron from Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Make sure your home is cool and comfortable all summer long. Routine maintenance can often prevent major breakdowns. Call us before the first sign of trouble. Call today, 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Arizona baseball is on the hunt for a Big 12 championship.
Up the middle, that'll go through for a base hit. White scores, Guzman around third. He is headed home.
Catch all the action with Brian Jeffries right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Former MLB All-Star Sean Casey, a.k.a. The Mayor, keeps hitting it out of the park.
Take my 30 years of experience. Take the wisdom and knowledge I've learned from the failures when I got sent down my rookie year, all the injuries I had to overcome. Your mind is the most important tool you have in life. Be relentless. Keep charging. It matters how you talk to yourself, how you look at the world. That matters. We talk about that. I don't know. I'm fired up. Baseball's back, and it's going to be incredible. I love it.
The Mayor's Office with Sean Casey from Believe.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.